Bitcoin reapproaches $69,000 and everyone's screaming in the world. Bitcoin's about to break out, the massive breakout to new all-time highs, which maybe it even does. But in today's video, we'll be going over a little bit of a nuance in the short term to be watching for, and then yes, indeed, many things to be very, very hopeful for in the not so distant future as we move into this third week, most importantly of October, which has, as we've gone over in our statistical analysis, great significance for price action. So first things first, because it is Monday, I do want to come back to the Monday strategy. The Monday strategy right here opened at 0 UTC Monday because that's literally when it always will open. And as you can see, it opened at 69,143. Now, last week was a pretty damn big win over here, opening at 62.5, closing at 65,700. And in this case, we bring up our strategy tester, looking at the full history of Bitcoin, just opening on Monday at 0 UTC and then closing Tuesday at 10 a.m. or 0 UTC or whatever the fuck it is. It has been more or less a coin flip in terms of whether it's likely to be a positive closing trade or a negative closing trade. But because the profit factor greatly outweighs because it's just bigger, this is a profitable strategy long term. Now, it's not the best strategy long term, but it does give us some areas of interest and some things to be to be mindful of and watching for on this Monday. So going into our performance strategy right here, our performance summary right here, you can see that I'm definitely underslept for today. The average winning trade was about 4.25%. The average losing trade 3 1/3. So likely going to be the range for today. If we go back into actual price action, again, keeping in mind that this one did open at 61,140. Well, for about 4.25 to the upside, we'll put Bitcoin where? That would put Bitcoin at $72,000. So not bad at all if it does happen. Of course, to the downside, shaving off about 3.5 or so it was, that could bring Bitcoin all the way back down somewhere around about $67,000, give or take a few bucks from that number. Now, I do want to call back to the first chart right here. The first chart right here, I did just want to make a quick analysis to kind of be mindful of this because it is uncharacteristic for Bitcoin to really ever not reconnect. That's a really terrible way of saying that Bitcoin very often reconnects with this red 5 exponential moving average on the weekly time frame just about every period. Now, not every period, but just about every period, and certainly no more than 2 periods away. So what do I mean by this? Well, you can see that each and every bar here tests that moving average as it kind of goes around. Even during breakouts, as you can see over here, it stayed away once. You could even call it twice, but on the third one definitely did retest again, once, twice, thrice on the retest right there. And again, more often than not, it is going to be retesting that region, that moving average at some point or very, very close to it in terms of price. So as of right now, I'm not saying that it has to retest it this week, but within the next week or two, extremely likely it does. And right now it is all the way down at 66,250. So I do think that there is potential for one of those situations where, it really does feel like everyone's on the same side of the market right now and thinking that the market's going to break out to new all-time highs. And, I think that it will as well, just because of the probabilistic analysis that we've been going over, for many moons now, not to include the moons, but where was I going with this? Bitcoin, for all intents and purposes, could easily play out a short-term pullback in between there, retest that, and then have the actual launch party. On top of that, if we go over here to the weekly HPDR, same thing. The 50% level is coming in where? 66,700. So if Bitcoin did want to come back down and just, back test that, that's completely fine. It doesn't destroy anything. But as always, whenever Bitcoin has more than like a $500 and especially a $1,000 move to the south side, people will get very likely concerned. So I'm going to ask you a question right now, a question that was posed to me first back in my World of Warcraft playing days, because I used to play that shit like crazy when I was especially a teenager. And at some point I came across this, I met this European guy on there, or he must have been European. I just remember him being foreign because he just ask weird shit. And he would always ask me, when we're talking, are you pussy or are you balls, bro? And I'm like, what? Like, I'm like 15 years old. I'm like, what the fuck? But in this case, we must ask Bitcoin, are you pussy or are you balls? Is it time to actually break out right here? Well, going back into our statistics, which actually didn't load in the right page, so let's go exactly to the right page. We've gone over this many times. We've already spoken about the Bitcoin October lows. That was around the 10th day. We've literally seen the low on the 10th day. Not that it always has to work out like that, but now we switch our vision to the Bitcoin October highs, typically coming in on the 21st of October on average. Today is the 21st, actually. Now, this data, when you do filter it between macro uptrends versus macro downtrends, which right now we're in a macro uptrend, that average comes in a little bit later at about a little bit past the 23rd day of October. If you do go through the data right here, however, you'll notice all of these dates except for one, which was 2012, so very early on in Bitcoin's history, were very late in the month. So if we get rid of that outlier, it goes to about day number 26 and a half. So let's just see when that would be. That would be Saturday/Sunday, 26 and 27, respectively, coming up here. So, I'll put that back on the board, but hey, God, you fucking bastard. There we go. But yeah, very likely this week we do see continuation. It's just, I'm saying, hey, there could very easily be a pullback in between here before that continuation. And there's about a coin flips probability of that actually happening today based off of this setup right here. Not guaranteed to work out. In fact, the last one working out quite well, but the ones before that, or three before that, actually fails. Win-win. So, you see how it averages out over time. Anyways, last that'll leave you on, because we do have the new weekly open. There are several things on the higher term timeframes that do make me even more steadfast in my overall view that Bitcoin, very likely is going to break out to like probably new highs from here, probably $80,000 in the coming months. But many things. Okay, first, weekly volatility, extremely low, extremely low, but coming off these lows. So this is extremely mature as well. It is ready to bust up. And we also do see that the weekly stochastic oscillator continues to the upside, back into the bullish controls. And I should add, because Bitcoin, as long as Bitcoin's above 61,900, so it's got some leeway there. The 2-week time frame, which by the way just closed last night, so we have a fresh one right here, is showing upside momentum, rejecting going into the neutral zone, as long as Bitcoin is above 63,200. And this is a fresh twist to the upside. By the way, the last time that we saw this was October of last year, before this mega run over here. And then the 3-week time frame, which also closed last night, is also freshly up as well, as long as Bitcoin's above 68,400. So if Bitcoin closes below about $68,000 in the next 3 weeks, okay, yeah, that would be concerning. Bitcoin comes back down basically below last week's low, would I be concerned? Yeah. Until that happens, however, any pullback down to even like $66,000 is completely fine and likely does set it up for continuation. Below 66 on a daily closing basis, okay, yeah, things start to become a little bit more concerning, I suppose. But until that happens, you're just going to see me kind of more blindly be bullish here. Again, based off of these statistical models that we have been looking at on this channel and on this video today. And, there's several more that we went over last week, which you can, of course, revisit as well. But I just wanted to speak about the potential here for a short-term pullback. Not that it has to happen, but if it does, that would be the area that I'm looking towards. Anywhere between like very low, or about 66.5 to, let's say, like low 67. Doesn't really do anything for price. It'd just be a backfill and then back up. So I do think that is likely a good place for me to be leaving off on this video. As always, I want to ask you, are you pussy or are you balls? And with that said, I want to wish you the best of best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow.